Hello there everyone, my name is Brother Birch. Welcome to this video in which we'll talk about Lesson 10 of cse341. So this lesson, we continue learning about API gateways and managers. It goes a little bit more into depth. If anyone was wanting to set up anything, here's an example of how to set up a gateway with Azure. Now we're not using Azure to deploy. There are gateways that are available with Heroku. It's just a lot more work to set it up. In industry, you'll generally see it used with, like Microsoft Azure or AWS, and they've worked out things really well. But we're not using those to actually host our stuff in this course. So, anyways, just a little heads up on that. Let's see, your team assignment. You don't have a personal assignment this week. Your team assignment, though, is a really big one. You're actually creating your API documentation. This would be a little bit different from, like your first project or even your second project. And the reason why this is different is because you want to have your entire API documentation set up before you actually start writing code. Previously, we've written code and kind of written documentation alongside it, or written code and then generated documentation from the code. We're not going to be doing either one of those. Instead, we're going to be doing a design first implementation of this API where we actually build out this documentation and then we write the code to match it. So these, you won't actually be able to test these at the end of this lesson. You're just making the documentation according to your design document from the previous lesson, from lesson 9 that you submitted, and you'll generate this API. The reason, or this Swagger documentation for the API. The reason why this is so important is because if you were going to have a front-end team that was working with you, they would need to know all this data. They would need to know what these routes are and what the URL is and what data needs to be supplied to the different routes and what data they're going to get back so that they can write a front end for it. And so you being able to do this is a really, really important skill to have in back-end web development. So that's what you'll do for this lesson. Rubric's pretty straightforward. The project's actually created with API documentation. That link needs to be included. This will be graded via YouTube, so make sure that all of this stuff you show in your YouTube video. It needs to be deployed to Heroku or Apollo Server if you're going to use GraphQL, this extra credit opportunity. And then your team ranking again. And that's pretty similar to the last lesson. The only difference here is including additional comments about how the team worked together. This is helpful for graders and just for us as teachers to get a good understanding of how the team is working together. So that's about it for what you can expect for this week. I hope you enjoy it.